This is Mary Bond. You're watching students in my new Rules of Posture class in May 2009. Right now, they are improvising a crowd scene, a circumstance similar to many in life in which we are forced to move quickly through an unknown situation. I've asked them to be aware of sensations in their bodies as the crowding becomes more intense, and then to notice where they feel relief in their bodies when the crisis is over.
And notice how it feels to be out again. What we've been talking about feeling the ground, feeling our relationship to gravity here, and being able to orient in space. So this is the ideal situation. This blue area is your transversus, so that you have spatial orientation, ground orientation, and containment. And that's the best operating system. That's everything working as it should. But we have emergencies all the time. And I try to draw here the places where the emergencies tend to happen. And when there's an emergency, we want to control the situation. And so we try to stabilize ourselves by drawing into the core. So here I drew the jaw, throat area, the eyes. We tend to narrow the vision. The breath, here's the diaphragm, breathing gets more shallow. The pelvic floor can pull in. The hands and the feet. So this last segment, my idea for it is to draw your attention more deeply to the kinds of sensations that protect us emotionally, I guess is a way of saying it. Physical sensations that correlate to our emotional self-sustenance. And just by becoming aware of those sensations, you can begin to replace them with some of the resources that we've been developing through the class.
In this exploration, Partner A stands on an unstable surface with eyes closed, making him vulnerable. Partner B pushes him from different directions. During these small emergencies, Partner A notices the sensations of his familiar way of stabilizing himself, withheld breath, tight jaw, tension in hands or knees, etc. He or she then experiments with replacing those sensations with more space and ground awareness.
So if you're the person on the cushion, try different resources to recover your equilibrium and see if there's one that works the best. Do you understand what I mean?
Do what?
Yeah, just you can trade and then you can do it again. But what I'm asking you to do is experiment with different resources. So let's see if feeling more space is really helpful, or feeling your transversus is really helpful, or feeling your feet. You know, what is the most helpful thing to recover?
Looking focused and looking spacious, and spaciousness really worked for me to not be alarmed. So I felt like I just I held onto it, so nothing she did bothered me after that. I started out working in space and found that whatever was especially surprising moves really got me in the gut. Then when I started working with space and grounding, then I didn't feel like I could love it so much. It didn't seem to be registering in the time.
So you found having two directions is really helpful.
Yes.
Without having much more luck, feeling naturally grounded if I focused on this that came here rather than pretty much the same thing rather than feet or anything else. But then as soon as I gave up not moving and just allowed myself to move and let it kind of roll through me and recenter,
Yeah.
the more natural it felt and the more I felt like I didn't have to brace for something coming, but it would just hit me.
I think there is a difference between containment of energy, containment of emotions, vector moving through you so that your gesture is not disturbing that. But there's a little bit of disturbance, so I'm going to exaggerate what it looks like. There's a little bit of, can you see how I'm not pushing it away, I'm pushing me away. Yeah, you're going to feel yourself, find your space, find your vectors, and feel her hand and push it away. There you go. There you go. And then relax. So, what happened that time a little bit was that you pushed her and then you went with her. Okay? So we want you to stay home in you and only push her away. Yes. Does that feel different, Diane? Yeah.
Here, students are experimenting with pushing another person away. While pushing the partner's hand, they try to incorporate the new resources they've been learning, like keeping a clear sense of their own weight on the ground, maintaining awareness of their surroundings, and feeling contained in the abdominal area. While we don't commonly push people or things away in such a formal manner, the physical sensation of doing so without disturbing our own center empowers us to set and maintain our boundaries.
I'm here, and I can say no. I don't leave this place to kind of defend what I'm saying or put all of myself into it. This kind of thing. It's a very powerful feeling to feel that you're right here and you can say no.
The basic thing is we're all afraid of falling in one way or another. We're afraid of falling down. And it's a tricky thing being a human, you know, on two legs, or just being a human in relationship with the rest of the world. Because you can fall in all kinds of ways. So we need stability. And the way we tend to stabilize ourselves is we use some way that was good in an emergency. So in some emergency or another, holding the breath worked, or clenching the teeth worked. And so then somehow or another we record that and we keep using it. And when we use that over and over, it begins to affect the structural and movement organization of our bodies. I mean, when you see small children up to maybe age 4, you see that two-directional vectoring, and you see that resilience in their bodies. If you picture a bunch of 4-year-olds, you know, they're very, very open and very bouncy in their spines. They're not, they haven't had enough emergencies, most of them. So you replace the tension in an emergency zone with orientation or with containment, and then I added in this boundary idea as another resource that I think is really important in terms of honoring one's own axis.
At the end of the day, we repeat the crowd improvisation we did earlier. The students find they can now move through the situation with less feeling of disturbance because of the physical resources they've been practicing.
So am I crazy, or was that easier? Yes. A lot easier. Okay, I just wanted to say thank you for coming and playing my games with me, because it's my favorite.